Oh, wow. So I guess it's on. I don't normally go live all of the time. I think I went live a couple of days ago and I was warning about somebody that lives in the city of Inglewood, California. And so this is yet another video and it's the same warning. So So, young black women, older black women, if you live or if you visit the city of Inglewood, California, which is located in Los Angeles County, be aware. So, last time I only gave a brief description, and it was very brief because I was trying to be cautious about who I'm referring to, but I'm going to give a little more detail in this video because I saw someone this past weekend. Today is Monday the 24th, and I saw a young woman, a young black woman to be exact, come visit this individual this past weekend. And you might ask, why am I so persistent on posting this type of content? Is because I'm an older black female and I see the mistakes that these other women are making, and I don't want them to fall victim to someone who is a predator. And I know personally that I seen this young black woman who looked to be, I say she might be in her 20s or early 30s. And she used her vehicle to come over here because this individual usually drives a truck. But the truck, I guess, is not working and maybe possibly in the shop because this individual, and I'm going to give more detail as I said, and so I just want you to listen to this. So what this person does is they usually frequent the Figueroa corridor. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Some of you might be familiar with, there's a street, it's a strip, or it's in the past it's been famously known or infamously known as the Figueroa strip, and a lot of prostitutes walk that strip. And so a lot of the prostitutes tend to be really young girls. They're not even women. Some of them are and some of them aren't. They're underaged, runaways, people from foster care, or they're runaways, and they end up sex trafficked on Figueroa, and Western is another strip. So these young women, some of them also are prostitutes. They are strippers. They are escorts. If you're an escort, you still need to be aware. If you're in the business of that type of work where you provide services, you still need to be aware. So I'm not going to say this video is for just women who are not in that line of work, because I think all women and all young girls, if you're black, because that's who he's usually attracted to, is their black females and black teenagers. He tends to know the right words to say. He knows how to make himself look presentable and look like he's okay to be with. But it turns out that he's not, because I will say this, what I do know about this individual is they have a tendency to be violent towards women. Sometimes it isn't always violence. It's, it doesn't happen right away. It's when the young lady is looking for a relationship and assuming that they fall for this young man. They think that he's ready to commit, and he has a lot of how would I say this to be fair, mental issues going on. But those mental issues are unchecked, which means I'm assuming that this person doesn't really get the care that they need, and they have more enablers than helpers, from where I've been sitting. And these are not people that are helping this individual get well and hold accountability of their actions. This is individuals who encourage the behavior, and they write it off as, oh, you're a man, men are going to be men. And it's dangerous, because this person has a history of being a stalker, a womanizer, a manipulator, a master manipulator, and they have PTSD. And they also enjoy hazing and teasing and harassing and taunting women. And I won't tell you all of how I know all of this. I just know this to be true, that you need to be careful of this individual, because they have been in the military, and they work sometimes in as, like, I guess, with security, and they also will pretend like they're safe to be with, and they know how to charm young ladies. And so this person is in their late 30s, early 40s. They tend to work in various places. They used to work over by the airport, but they are no longer employed there. I don't believe. They might move around. But they often have roommates that are also associated with the military, and they engage in the same activity by picking up random women. And they do things to these women, and they give them drugs, and they have them all drugged up. And I'm going to tell you, aside from being careful about the person's characteristics, the person allegedly is ill and has something that may be incurable, or some things that may be incurable, because women have come back to the place of residence of this individual and thrown rocks at his window. So you need to be careful who you're dating, who you're speaking to, who you're talking to. If you're on these websites and these dating apps, young women, young black females, young girls thinking that he's safe to be with, beware, because he has a tendency to go from 0 to 100 very quickly. And so he can injure you, he can hurt you, he can also follow you. He has a tendency to do this following and hunting. And that's why he's usually on the strip picking up women. And I think the police has been alerted somewhat of the behavior of the individual, but he has not actually gotten caught like he should, So Don't be a victim. They right now are looking for someone, and they don't know who. I don't believe they know who did this, but there was someone that decapitated a woman, and I believe it was near here in the city of Inglewood, and they haven't found those individuals. And I don't want to scare people, but I don't want them to be naive, because the reason why I take this serious and I'm going to this extra length to do this is because I'm a black woman too, and I hate to see somebody's daughter or somebody's auntie or somebody's sister end up in the hands of this individual, or these individuals I should say, because there's more than one of them and they run together. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were involved in that incident with the woman they claim that they can't find who attacked her. So I don't think people take things serious until it's too late. I'm going to be really candid here, because a lot of young women, they want a boyfriend, or they want a baby daddy, or they want some kind of companionship. Some don't want to be by themselves. But having your life and your sanity is a lot better than not being here to raise your children, or to be here to even become a mother ever. And if you get in the hands of the wrong individuals, you may not have any chance of having a companionship ever again, because you won't be here, because somebody might use that as a way in to get close to you, and then they can kill you, they can rape you and beat you and leave you for dead somewhere. This is the type of individual that I'm referring to, that has that mentality. So a lot of these young black women, they're on these little sites, and I know that's probably where he's meeting them, if he's not going to strip bars, or he's not picking them up off the street, or he's in a public place at his workspace and they run into him and assume that he's this nice black guy. And yes, he is black. And I hate that situation has to be this way, but I'm just being honest with you. He is not safe to be with. Now, I'm not trying to say because of this one individual, or these individuals in particular, that all people are like this, but I'm referring to this specific individual. And so, ladies, you need to be careful. Your mothers need to be careful, because there's a lot going on in this world right now, and it's unsafe. And some people are very gullible, they're very naive. They have it in their head and in their mind that black love is still thriving. But you gotta be realistic. All people's relationships are not always great. Some people are toxic to be together. Some situations are deadly to be involved with that individual. And it could mean you being buried. And so if you don't pay attention to the signs of something that doesn't feel right in your gut, if you say this person is kind of off, and sometimes it takes a little more discernment, or a little more than just discernment. You got to do some background checking on the individual. And some people know how to lie to make you believe and convinced that they're safe to be with, and they're not the right person you should be riding around with. Now, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of what I experienced in terms of what I had seen. And I've been seeing this. I see different young black females, and they sometimes look underaged or they look of age, anywhere in between. And a lot of times they frequently come to his apartment. He either brings them, he used to bring them in his vehicle to his apartment, or he has them where they drive over here. Now they're driving and picking him up and spending the night with him. And some people think, oh, I provided a service and that was it. But they're not realizing this man may have given them something that they now left with that they cannot cure. And I know what some people are going to say, well, maybe they're on PrEP or maybe they're taking some medication, but believe me, a lot of people don't understand this, but there's some things that even PrEP can't protect you from. Sometimes there's other incurable diseases that even the PrEP cannot protect you from. And so you can sleep with somebody and get some diseases that you ain't never seen before. Now, from what I've heard about this individual is they have PTSD. They had also been in the service. They're in the Marines at one time, and that they had gotten sick from drinking the water in Camp Lejeune. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that was a place that some of the service people were stationed at, and they got sick. And I believe it's in South Carolina. I believe maybe North Carolina, but it was some years ago. Now, this individual, I assumed, was very promiscuous and picked up a lot of different individuals, because this one that I'm referring to goes through women like changing clothes out of a closet. He is not emotionally attached to any of these women, even the ones that assume that he's going to be their girlfriend. A lot of those women like that wind up getting their heart broken. He doesn't have any respect for women. I don't care how much whining and dining he does with you. And when he entertains these young women, he turns the music up so loud. He lives in an apartment building in Inglewood and on the second floor, and he stays not far from Costco. I'm going to say that there's a Costco and a SoFi Stadium. So if you've been anywhere in that vicinity and you met a young man and he's black and he stays anywhere in that area and he turns the music up loud and he's a whining and a dining you and a sexing you down, beware. You probably met that individual. If he's asking you to come pick him up right now, because his vehicle is out of commission right now. I believe it's being worked on, but he usually normally drives an SUV. That's white. It used to be blue and beat up, but now it's white. He hunts. He hunts all up and down Figueroa, Western. He goes to strip clubs. Him and some other group of dudes pick up young girls that are either underage or they're a little above age. And he always has the music up loud, extremely loud in the vehicle as well. That's how he used to be. He still does that, but there's something wrong with him. And he'll treat you like you this queen and this, that, and he'll pump you up and say the right things, and you think he might be about something, but you'll learn. The longer you stick around, you'll see the real side of him slowly creep out. And watch out. Beware, young women. And I'm talking to my black women, because this man is a predator. And when he goes through one woman and he gets tired, he goes to the next one. And I call them victims, because he victimizes them. And I've heard the way the person talks about the women, him and the buddies. So when you come around thinking you the only thing he's got his eye on and you miss this and miss that, think again. You are woman number 2000 and if you know what I mean. He has no emotional attachment. So he just looks at you as somebody to lay down with, and when he's done, he's ready to move on. And he might let you stick around for as long as he wants to do what he wants to do, and then he pretty much cuts you off. And when you start trying to be serious with the individual, that's when they become more aggressive. It's always what you did wrong or what you didn't do. And so it's just an excuse to dump you so they can move on to the next victim. And I've heard, and I'm going to say this allegedly, women claiming rape with this individual, women claiming harsh abuse, also physical violence and coerciveness, and also drugging women. Be careful, because he will buy liquor and drugs, and he will put something in your drink when you least expect it. That's what I'm hearing the women complaining about, and they throw rocks at his window. And be careful, because he has other men that are around when you come into his place of where he resides. So that if you think you're going to run out or you're going to get physical, they might hold you down and they might all take their turns with you. And so I'm thinking that's what they do with the prostitutes, because they just want money. And they're not thinking that they're going to get hurt, but they're in a dangerous situation as well. Just because you're a prostitute or you're maybe a woman that's out there and that you look at it as a basic service, your life is in danger too. Because these people do not have no emotional attachment to where they even think this is somebody's sister, somebody's, daughter. We hurt this woman, we taking these people away from their family. We're taking them away from their children and their loved ones. They don't have any emotional attachment, and they don't have any empathy for the fact that you're a young woman. And so if you're out here and you think you the best thing since sliced bread, think again. Because the way they had you, they done had many and plenty of women just like you. And they're not stopping. And it's getting worse as I've seen it. And so I feel like young women do not take things serious. Their mind is about, I want a man attitude. But they're not understanding you can get a man, but is he a good one? Is he a one that you can be safe, that he ain't going to kill you or rape you or hurt your children, take you away from your family? And so, young ladies, you need to take your life serious. You are looking for companionship, but looking in all the wrong places. And you're going to wind up not being here, and you won't be having no companionship ever again. Not even a chance of it if you get in the hands of the wrong individuals. So this is a serious public announcement. And I'm saying this because, too, you got a lot of young women who turn up missing. And they wind up in the sex trafficking. And not knowing how they got there. And it could have been as simple as meeting somebody like these individuals. If they give you enough drugs and they keep you high, and they're all taking their turns with you. They might put you out there on the block because he frequents that area a lot, and I'm starting to wonder if he is actually, and in fact, not only just a predator, but he could be also in the sex trafficking business, because I'm seeing lots of young women frequent his space, and they don't look like they're there because they're going to college. They don't look like they're there because they're just only there for a relationship. Some of them look like they come straight from Figueroa. And then others look like, I'm so sorry to say this, they look like somebody's daughter, somebody's teenager daughter that ran away from home. They look like some young girl who thinks she found a boyfriend, and she doesn't realize that this man is a predator. And I believe he even dyes his hair to make himself look younger so that he can target these young women, because when he doesn't have the dye in his mustache and he wears a goatee and he wears his hair cut very low like a low razor buzz cut, he's short. He's not that tall. I say he's anywhere between, like, maybe at the tallest 5'5", 5'6", dark complexion. And he was in the military, I believe the Marine Corps. And he has the abbreviation, the first name is G. That's what it starts with, a G. And the last name starts with a H. And so if you get in contact with anybody with those abbreviations in their name, be careful. And you need to get tested. I'm going to tell you personally, you need to get tested right away, because he may also be infected with several incurable diseases, and he may be just giving them out to young women who are unsuspecting. These people got it in their head that they're normalized, that if even they catch HIV, they can still keep living. What I've seen recently is that people need help paying for that medication. So if you didn't have a sickness and you meet somebody that gives you something, he might change your life entirely around, where now you need help paying for medicine just to stay living. And I don't think that trade-off is a good one. So take this message serious. And I'm not saying this just to scare folks. I'm saying this to bring about an awareness, because a lot of our black women can be very, very gullible, because they want to have this companionship, and you hear them throwing around, oh, my husband, and black love this and black love that. Honey, you better slow your roll. That's what we used to say, because you need to know your self-worth. Your life is more important than jumping in the bed with somebody you don't know nothing about. Now, I might sound like an old mother here, but take it from me, from what I've seen, and I know firsthand, he is not the ticket. And I'm sure he ain't the only one. There's some others running around here doing similar to what he's doing. So be careful about who you call yourself being your boo and your love bucket or your snuggle bunny and all this mess, because that might be your grave. That might be, now you got to pay medicine, the medicine people, to keep you living, all behind that, what, 30 minutes, can we say, like, what, 10 minutes? I don't know how it goes, but you know how it goes. Y'all young people, y'all link up and y'all meet on these dating apps, and you get with somebody, and then you cry foul after, and it's too late. just like a lot of them went to Houston. All of them just seem to go there. There's no beaches. They wearing beach clothes at the gas stations, all posted up out there. People having whatever relations in the back seat of a car. That should tell you right there. The people that do things like that are not looking for no long time relationship with you. This is a wham bam and thank you ma'am. Not even thank you ma'am. And so it gets to that point where you have to consider my life, or do I want to, play around and take these risks, and then I'm not here to live to make it through the next year or the next year. I'm hurting my mom because she's not able to know where I'm at, because now you're out on the strip. You might not even, your lifestyle probably wasn't even like that. But if they have you doped up enough, now you're doing things you probably wouldn't have never did if you hadn't have met these individuals. They might hold you captive and be aggressive and force you on the street. So I hear a lot of young people joking, oh, if you ain't did nothing if you didn't come here and get a disease. That's not funny. It may sound funny. It may be funny to joke about, but it really isn't when you ain't got the money to get the medicine to keep you living. It is not funny when you realize that you're in pain and you can't do nothing about it. And what you could have did, you didn't do because you were just so gullible and impulsive. You gotta use common sense. So just be aware. And if you are anywhere in the vicinity of Inglewood, California, you visit, or if you've been on any dating apps, young black women, please beware. Be careful, because this is not a joke. I'm being serious right now. This man, he's picking up a lot of females, a lot of them. And you can't tell me that some of y'all don't frequent these internet websites like YouTube and TikTok and all of that. I hope you run across this public announcement to beware. But this man is picking people up like, almost like he's like changing clothes out of the closet. He goes through one and then he gets a new one. And this weekend, he had one that came and drove over here, picked him up, spent the night, and then he rides back with them. And just the last couple of weeks, he was with somebody totally different. And I think him and the homeboy both ran a little shindig on the one lady. And she looked like she was one of those smokers from on maybe Figueroa. So I'm just telling you, this is what you're getting yourself into. And so some of y'all young women think you're real cute because you got your nails done and your feet done. He don't care nothing about that. All he cares about is manipulating and gaslighting and being the master manipulator and womanizer. Be careful about yourself. Have pride in your body. Because if you just give up yourself that easy, yeah, you might be setting yourself up for some danger ahead. Not later, but sooner. So just beware. So I'm going to say this again. If you've been in the city of Inglewood, which is in LA County, young black women, if you have been on any of these dating sites and you've been anywhere in the area near Costco and you met a person and they used to be in the service and they are not that tall, but they go around talking about how they this and that, they seem charming, but they riding around with you, or either they picking you up, be careful. because there's something going on, and I've been seeing a lot of young women coming and going like no tomorrow. And a lot of them, some of them be drugged up. Some of them look like the women that you get off on the street of Figueroa. That's their favorite place that they frequent. And they had a crackdown recently on Figueroa. So they kind of slowed down on that area. But beware, young ladies. Beware. These predators are out there. And so you're going to run up on one of them. And I'm going to tell you this. It isn't like what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's some guy that looks weird. And no, he looks like somebody you would meet at a nightclub. Somebody that maybe you work with. He doesn't appear threatening. It's not until you find out who that person really is when you start going and start inviting you to their house. Because see, he got to get you in his house first. Because if anything goes down, he can lie and say that you came over there. He's not taking you out somewhere so you can meet him unless it's at a hotel. That might be dangerous as well because he's got you isolated. But if you are crazy enough to come to his place, he can turn that story around and say, well, she asked to be here. We didn't do anything. And this is the mistake that young black women often make, and I see lots of them coming in here doing that. And then we see the ones coming back with the family members throwing rocks at the man's window. And it's happened multiple times. So be careful, young ladies. Be careful.